do you think the new urban regeneration law's effect on the land supply will be? And the second thing, assume that I have $100 million and I want to buy something in Istanbul. I think that's one of the biggest problems. You can find a good asset even if you have the money and even if you're ready to pay something like 7% yield.
Yes, on the second aspect, I agree. Why? Because you've got very wealthy owners of the prime assets. They're very cash wealthy. Most of the time didn't even finance some of their projects because they have the cash to actually do it without any finance. So when you do approach them and you try, and we have done in the past with some large sovereign funds which wanted to enter the market, the owners want to sell at 4%, not even 5%, not talk about 7%. Once I was told that one of the assets was like in the Fifth Avenue, and we were talking about Istanbul. So this is something different, but it will happen. I think as the market matures and the typology of and the competition happens, there's also something we need to put in perspective. We were talking about the complexity of having 6 or 7 shopping centers into the same place. I think some of them are bound to go to failure, so they will have to look for new opportunities. These will be distressed assets, probably not distressed in the sense that the finance or that the ownership is in huge amount of debts and has to sell as a discounted price, but this will make opportunities maybe for the owner to say, okay, I've spent this amount of money to do a shopping center, it's not working, it's not been a good story for me, maybe I should pass this story to someone else. So I think this may be promoting some new deals onto the market, because the main problem is you don't have deals. You don't have office deals, you don't have shopping centers deals, you rarely have industrial or at the moment these financialized products, which normally you would find in Europe with a tenant and an owner changing ownership, you don't find it. Why? Because most of the local players are very cash wealthy, they don't need to. But I think as the market is changing and the competition will come and some of the assets will be not as good, will not perform as good as the landlord would have expected, we will see some new operations and some different deals coming into the market, especially Istanbul and Ankara, because I think there are, when we talk about Istanbul and Ankara, then the other cities are very, very different. And to go back, I think there was 2 questions. One is the
Urban regeneration in that context.
I think it will allow a lot of new investors. In which form, I have doubts. I don't think that if you refer to the urban regeneration program that was led by the Istanbul municipality in Göztepe, and I think on the European side it's not far from the Haliç Bridge. I think this will bring some investors, but in a different way. Maybe REIT, because it's quite structured, quite clear and easy to come in and out. Maybe some joint ventures, but these are programs that will, I think, allow a lot of international players, not only from Europe, but also from the Middle East. Now with the new law, I think this could be a good point for, there's a new law that came into place for Middle East individuals to actually acquire property. So we think, for example, on the luxury end residential, I think this will have a great impact, because before they were prevented to buy into Istanbul, and it's a place they like, and I think that is going to help Istanbul, Antalya, Bodrum. I think those places will see benefited from this new law.
The new law is just about reciprocity, so it's not only for the Middle East. So even if your country doesn't allow you to purchase any properties for Turks, still you will be welcome to buy a house or a place in Turkey. So it's.
I just want to add one thing. All these kind of panels that we are attending, or we try to, introduce Turkey or the investments. I mean, everybody talks about Istanbul, Ankara, Izmir. I mean, there are 81 cities in Turkey, and only 55 cities is being developed by the foreign investors. And what the foreign investors do, they come to Turkey and they think only the Istanbul is a country. I mean, rest of it, okay, there's cities, but where? Okay, if you look at it, to the whole country, I mean, you see so many places, which is, yes, it is developed by the locals. And then you go there and you're like, oh, I shouldn't be here, but it's too late. So now, sorry, with this new infrastructure, that we have to know that, I mean, we have to really do our homework before we come to Turkey. And we have to do it with the right partners.
Yes.
I mean, we cannot just go there and says, for example, Mustafa say, okay, I have 100 million, what should I do in Istanbul? I don't know, let's go to Izmit, which is about 100 kilometers away from Istanbul, and it is the healthiest city in Turkey, as in GDP and GMP. But we don't know, because, okay, Istanbul is the place. Of course, you come with 100 million, you cannot buy anything, because the prices are expensive. Because there's not many spots that you can buy at the moment in Istanbul, unfortunately.